Oh boy, here we go again. And by the way, fantastic job today. We got the retest trade, the slingshot reversal. I got a ton of emails and comments. You guys making money off that today. So very good to hear that. Love seeing you guys make some bank this morning. Now, I got some more good news for tomorrow. We have a bunch of ranges on the charts right now. Got a big old range, a couple smaller ranges. That's good news for us because ranges, if you have the right strategy, are pretty easy to make money with. We're going to cover the entire roadmap as always in this video. I want to cover entries. I want to cover exits. I want to cover some variations in case things get crazy tomorrow as well. So this will be a fantastic video from start to finish. As always, thank you for tuning in and watching. Charts are ready. Enough of the intro. Let's buckle down, make some more moolah on what should be another fun Thursday trading session. S&P SPY ready to go tonight. Nasdaq triple Qs are always ready, aren't they? I got 4 clues on these charts that are telling us where the money is made tomorrow. The first clue is right here on the hourly time frame. We've talked about this all week. The S&P and the SPY right now are rotating back and forth. They got that retest we talked about, and now we should be trying to make that rotation back to the other side of that trading range. There is a small little range that we saw this morning. We'll talk about that a bit later on in this video, but the overall projection right now, though, is that bullish rotation going higher. And the Nasdaq and the triple Qs are a little bit different. You can see that channel we're starting to find right now. We're bullish overall right now in the Nasdaq, and it looks like that channel's trying to rotate there higher as well. So the first of 4 clues for tomorrow is we are definitely still bullish overall. The sellers had all of this potential off that big hoopla we saw over lunch today, and they couldn't get anything going. So buyers are definitely still well in control. Let's grab schedule for tomorrow. That's our second clue for Thursday morning. We got some big earnings tomorrow morning. TSMC, we know Taiwan Semiconductor is a big part of the AI supply chain. That's a big report watching tomorrow before the open. And then just around, 8:30 Eastern time, we got some big news tomorrow. Jobless claims, retail sales. I definitely have my eyes on that Philly Fed manufacturing index tomorrow morning. So a big block of reports there, 8:30 Eastern time. Be aware of that. And then we know something's going on right now with Powell, right? It doesn't seem like that's over with. I know we saw the fake news from the New York Times today, and then Trump came back and denied it, but you can smell, it just doesn't feel like this J. Powell thing is going away. Something is cooking in the background right now. I don't know what it is just yet, but I definitely have my feelers up right now. We're watching that closely here for tomorrow. That could be a grenade that goes off tomorrow that we simply don't know about yet. So be aware of that. And heads up to next week. I'll be on vacation next week. So make the most of these videos here before next week. But let's get back to our charts though, because we got 2 out of 4 clues. Let's now dive into our tick charts. Remember, we don't trade the time charts in our trade room. Tick charts make entry timing a whole lot easier. This, by the way, is a 7,000 tick chart in case you're tuning in and watching for the first time right now. And that yellow line, guys, that is the only indicator we need. We don't need to overcomplicate this. The 21 EMA. I told you I had some good news, and you can see why. I got a bunch of ranges on this chart right now. So 2 clues on the tick chart. First one is this big juicy range right in the middle. Now, ranges love to rotate. So we go down and we're trying to rotate right now off the low of that range. Very similar on the Nasdaq as well. But, we got that 63, we'll call it 27 up there, is where that big range in the middle is trying to rotate back up again. That's a big clue. That tells us kind of the big direction right now. But look at these small ranges. Range right there, and one of my favorite ranges is this range down here, that 66, 62. Again, there'll be similar ranges. We'll talk about this in a moment here on the Nasdaq. Now, this is the most important clue because this most recent range right now, what does it want to do? It wants to rotate the amount above, the amount below. We know where that level is, but the previous ranges, that range right there, you can see I got it marked up, right? Breakout pullback zone. I love, by the way, how that channel lines up right around. Boy, what a prime spot right there for a breakout pullback. So if you put all these clues together right now, I think it's pretty easy to see why breakout pullbacks are definitely where I think the money is made for tomorrow. Now, we may keep grinding higher overnight. So I want to talk about going higher here because there's two types of setups. They're a bit trickier if we go higher because we don't want to chase after it. So we'll talk about that a bit later on in the video. If you like making money, I would definitely watch all the way to the end. We'll talk about that a bit later on the Nasdaq. But breakout pullbacks are definitely where I love the entries for tomorrow. I want to talk about these two zones right there because I'm going to look for slightly different entries on those two zones. For example, if we can pull back right now, get into that breakout pullback zone, get into that channel. I would love to go a bit lower and get that pendulum swing area. In this area down here, I want to look for a bear trap. Like we saw back here today, right? On the pullback to that moving average, remember guys, I don't have a crystal ball. It may seem like that sometime, but I don't know how far that pullback will go. So what I'll do is when I get that pullback running lower, I'm going to wait for it to pull back to that 21 EMA and look for ways to trap these sellers in. Let them try once, let them try twice. Remember, always a higher high. That way, I know where their stops are. Think about this, very important. If you're caught short and you get stopped out of a short trade, the only way out of that short is to buy your way out. Running stops is an easy way. We saw back here, pull it back, bears once, bears twice, squeeze it back up again. So I like the idea of a bear trap right there. Now again, remember, we have that big pendulum swing up to that big level we thought earlier. That's where the market wants to go. So if we can get that juicy bear trap right there, I love the idea of adding to my winner. Guys, the easiest way to turn a winning trade into a big time, make your week winning trade is to add to your winner. Look for a separation off the moving average. We didn't get it today. There's no separation right there, but if it pops up, it begins to separate off that moving average, higher high in price, the add-on trade is right below that low. In our free video classes, in our trade room, we call this a bear trap and an add-on, and we know where the market wants to go, wants to complete that rotation back higher again. Now, I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite breakout pullbacks is this range down there. Now, why do I say that? Well, because think about this. That range right there, we might get a bigger pendulum like that. See, that's going to feel, I'll tell you right now, that will feel very bearish, which means it's a prime spot for a bear trap, right? Anytime that voice in your head says, oh, are you sure? Yes, right? That is usually, you know, when you do something right about that, right? So pendulum swing, I would love to get a nice sharp pullback lower, you know, get below some prior swings, get down around that trading range. And again, don't pick the bottom on this. Bear trap once, bear trap twice, squeeze those stops, get that pain hurting those bears there, and then add to that winner as we go higher. This could be one of our biggest winning trades of the week right there, because what's going to happen on that one is that now that range right there, that's going to want to rotate back up again. That could be a big, big paycheck. Now, there's one more thing though I want to talk about, because whenever we get a really sharp pullback like this, we may not get that bear trap down there. So I want to talk about some alternate entry tactics. Before I do that though, let's take a quick pause though, because I know most of you guys watching right now, you guys know these patterns, you're making money in these already. But if you're watching for the first time right now, this might be a brand new strategy, a brand new language I'm speaking. Don't you worry though, I teach this entire roadmap in my free trading course. In fact, I have a ton of examples of these bear traps, a lot of examples of these add-ons. Guys, bottom line, the markets are way too good right now not to be making consistent profits. So I want to help you guys time entries with this stuff, make some money with this stuff. I'll put a link up top here for you, upper right-hand corner. Hit that link that popped up there. Take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video course will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room that literally tells me exactly where to look for the winning trades each day. It's remarkably simple. More importantly though, we all know this. We make our money by timing good entries. So I want to teach you guys my 4 favorite entry setups so you can time better entries, get your confidence back in your trading. Guys, if you're still missing the best entries right now, if you've lost your confidence in your indicators or your current strategy, pause the video, don't wait any longer, hit that link that popped up there, take that free trading course. It will change the way you look at markets for the rest of your career. And by the way, you'll love all the trading samples I include in that short video series. Best part is it's completely free for you. Also be aware too, guys, I'm gonna put all the important links you need to learn the strategy, time better entries. I'll put everything below the video tonight, description of the YouTube video. Start first on that free video course. Most folks start making money all on their own, all from that strategy I teach in the free course. So enjoy that free course there. And don't forget, I post a ton of charts and videos and mindset stuff on Twitter. If you're on the X platform, give me a follow. Again, all the details you'll need to learn more and most likely earn a lot more. I'll link the video tonight here in the description of the YouTube video. Okay, so where did we leave off here? I want to pit stop there because a lot of you folks are watching here for the first time. And I talked earlier about that big move down. I love that big move down. I want that bear trap and back up again. But I'll tell you right now, there might be, I'm probably not the only person that knows that right now about that deeper pullback right now. So we may get no bear trap and it may just whoop and run right back up again. Remember, if we get a sharp pullbacks, there's two variations of this I want you to think about. One is a V bottom. So sometimes we don't pull back, we don't get the bear trap and back up. Sometimes it just kind of pops back up and begins to grind going higher. Now, these can be very difficult on the emotions because if you're anything like me, that voice in your head is going to be screaming at you, right? Throwing guilt at you, saying, you're missing it, man, you're missing it. You're not missing it. The key is a little patience goes a long way on these V bottoms. Market trailing off the high, bring it down around that low, and remember, look left on these V bottoms, look left, and the goal is, I want to get that pullback just below a prior swing. And as we say in our trade room, first test is the best test. It's always the first test is the best test. You can see an example of that right now, right? We get a pop up. I'm grinding up the screen right now. I draw my channel. I find my swings. These line up beautifully with that. Again, breakout pullback zone, right? Same idea. It's the same idea, right? So we run down, it's just boing right back up again, pops up, starts grinding higher. Easy trade. The hardest part, again, is not being too aggressive. The hardest part is chasing after it. Your patience is rewarded in a trade like that. And the final one, and then we'll talk about the Nasdaq here going higher here, because again, it may keep on grinding higher because these things do tend to grind during these big range rotations like we're seeing right now. So we'll talk about going higher in a moment here. But remember, like we saw today, right? If we see a strong move down, remember to look for the retest trade, right? 1, 2, nope, didn't get it. 1, 2, back up again. That retest trade, I got a lot of comments, a lot of emails today about the retest trade. That was an easy one. That was a pretty easy one. Those are some of our favorites. So if we do get that strong rundown, remember, it may pop up. We may get that bear trap. It may pop up here. And every once in a while, they're going to hold the underbelly of a range because ranges love to rotate. And we'll see another leg going lower. As long as I get that retest, as long as they retest that low, remember what's going on right now. Anybody who sells up here, they turn to buyers down here. We're not a bear market. We're an overall bull market. This is the tick chart, right? Remember, the tick chart helps us time the entries. That hourly chart, that's the directional filter. So when this goes lower, when this retests that low, again, it's going to feel like a reversal, but it's not a reversal. It takes a lot more than another leg lower on that hourly time frame to call this a bear market. So if we know that a lot of rookies who don't watch my videos, they will look at that and say, oh my goodness, right? We're a bear. No, we're not a bear market yet, but we're definitely in a spot now for a good bear trap. So just like over here, we may have to wait a couple times for it, right? Sometimes it'll pull back, right? Go 1, 2, go lower, right? Pull back 1, 2. All I'm doing is I'm trying to find a way to squeeze those stops, right? Because I don't know how far it will go, right? I don't know how far it will go. There's no indicator for that. There's no tape reading, right? Don't be naive, right? Those things don't work enough to be reliable, right? So we don't try to time the bottom. We don't pick the bottom. We wait for 1, 2, and sometimes we get them. And sometimes we don't. Sometimes we wait for the next one right there. But once they retest that low though, we then go into bear trap mode, bear trap, and again, add to your winner as we rotate back up again. All right, that's the game plan now and some variations here on the S&P. Let's talk about the Nasdaq right now, especially if we go higher here, because again, this could be a bit tricky here if we go higher here tomorrow. The Nasdaq definitely is a bit messier right now than the S&P. We began the week this week with that big range, and of course we're rotating back and forth. But as you can see, that big J-Powell move, the fake news that we saw today, if I can quote President Trump, the fake news we saw from the CBS report, the New York Times report, which again, maybe it's not fake news. Maybe it's not. Maybe Trump is playing coy right now. They're talking about investigating the renovation at the Fed headquarters. That sounds like something out of the Hillary Clinton playbook. You know what I mean? I don't know, but something, my spidey senses right now say we might not be done hearing about this back and forth with J-Powell right now. And again, that's kind of a grenade that may go off at some point here. But the bottom line though is that just like the buyers took out the high, the sellers, they should have taken out that low. Right? That's the way ranges work. So again, I don't think this range is the key anymore than NASDAQ. I think now we're looking at a big channel here right now. It's kind of an ugly channel, but you can see here right now, that looks to be like the channel that we're now using. That may change. And remember, we don't want to get into the weeds too much on the hourly time frame. Like I was preaching a few moments ago on my soapbox, right? The hourly time frame is really just for direction, right? We don't want to get too far wrapped up to it. And like I mentioned earlier, the sellers have had all of these just easy opportunities to take control, and they haven't. So when the buyers have control, and I see the bears get this just on a silver platter, right? They could have easily taken control and they don't. Okay, we know we're still bullish, right? The buyers are in overall control. It's up to the sellers to prove to us right now that they take control. And how do they prove to us? They're going to run it lower, hold the pullback, and go. Run it lower, hold the pullback, and go. That's why I say over and over again, it takes a lot more than just a big leg down to call this a bear market. They have to go big leg down and hold. They haven't been holding. So again, we're not a bear market just yet, right? But who knows, right? Time will tell on that. Now, I want to dive into the tick charts here and talk entries for tomorrow. But before we do that though, if you're enjoying these videos, having fun watching the video tonight, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button and make sure you subscribe. I know we're all busy people. I know kids are home from school, so life's crazy right now. I appreciate you all tuning in, carving some time out, spending some time on your trading game with me here every evening on these videos. So thank you for the likes, subs, all the ongoing support. And I promise I'm done talking your ear off here. Let's grab the NASDAQ tick charts here. And boy, NASDAQ very similar to the S&P, right? There's that big range right in the middle, right? That big range right in the middle. We know ranges love to rotate, the amount below, the amount above, the amount below, the amount above. Pretty good idea right now where this market wants to go. That 23,160 area, give or take a few ticks there, going higher there. And again, one of my favorite parts, which we're going to use to time the entries here, you got a bunch of sub ranges, right? So range right there, and you can see the channel. Once again, we pop up, we start grinding higher. We mentioned this earlier on the S&P, off the high, off the low. Where swings? Swing. And you can see why I love that area down there, right? You can see why I love that area. That would be a primo area for the same bear traps I mentioned earlier, right? So all the same stuff I said earlier on the S&P can be applied to NASDAQ as well. Now, what if we keep going higher here? That's kind of the next game plan, right? So what if we go higher here? If we go higher here, there's two scenarios I am looking for, right? So one of them will be, if we keep going higher here, all I'm going to do is extend out that channel, right? Keep on finding that channel. Keep looking for those lows, right? Keep looking for those lows. And of course, this range back there, that will still be great for a breakout pullback. Would love to see a breakout pullback off of that trading range. And as you can tell, I really love ranges. I love how they rotate. I love how they give us breakout pullbacks. These are some of the easiest markets to trade, and a lot of people don't learn ranges. They love trends, but I think once you learn these, you're going to be like me. You're going to wish every day was a range-bound day like I do in our trade room. So now when it comes to breakout pullbacks, Usually, not always, but usually, when it comes to breakout pullbacks, what usually happens is it's a two-legged pullback, right? So it's a one leg, it's a two leg. My favorites are two legs, think measured move. Not always, okay, not always, but those are the primos, right? The best ones are the two-legged pullbacks, and they go a bit more, by the way, than a measured move. So 120, 130, 140, right? Don't be surprised with a little more than that two-legged move there. The bottom line though is once with the two-legged pullback, then we start looking for the same bear traps and add-ons, right? So one try, two try. Always a higher high. Gotta always be a higher high. Remember, sellers want to sell high, right? Sellers want to sell high. I need them to go higher. That way, as my first coach would always say, my first mentor would always say, that way you know they're in pain, right? That way you know the bears are in pain if they fail. So again, it's that bear trap. It's that add-on. Whenever I see a bear trap, I always immediately then look for that separation. Again, if you want to make a lot more money, add to your winning trades. Again, we didn't see much separation today, right? But a lot of times we will. So keep in mind on that. The separation is on that pullback, right? Does it separate off that moving average? Separation means strength. Mark off that high. Well, not mark the high, but higher high in price. Remember, higher high in price and right below that low, right? Right below that low. Target, of course, now is back up to retest the high. We got all-time highs up there, so definitely leave a runner. Bear trap, add on, back to retest the high here. One of the easiest scenarios for tomorrow would be if we pop up and go into a range up here, right? That would be kind of the easiest way to do it for tomorrow. So let's imagine now, for example, here, we grind higher, we're waiting for retail sales tomorrow, waiting for the Philly Fed tomorrow, we see a range up here, right? What do ranges do? They love to rotate. They love to break out pullback. So now, if that range below us is a breakout pullback, yes, you're getting this now. You're getting this now. The force is strong in you. So now that rotation off that low, remember, rotation, breakout pullback. That's why I said earlier, this is the easier one, right? This is the easier one because now you know that new range is a magnet. You know how to trade the entry and the exit. Same basic idea is we now look for a range up there. We get below that 21 EMA. Simple. One try, two try, bear trap. And again, remember, what makes ranges so lucrative is the pendulum swing. We're not trying to go back to retest the high now, right? We're going back to that pendulum swing now. So now it becomes an add-on, right? Now the add-on comes in, higher high in price, shallow pullback, and we add more from there. Also, too, don't forget, if this range up here, we see a range up here, range up, same thing if it really rips going lower. It is summertime trading. The month of July and August, they're lower volume, they're lower liquidity, and that means bigger moves. Okay, write that down. In fact, put that on your calendar for a reminder next summer. What I do is every season, right? Winter, spring, summer, fall, I remind myself on my Outlook calendar of what the personality is. In the summertime months, it's low liquidity, it's smaller window of trading time, it's a lot bigger moves, right? So put that on your calendar for next end of June, right? 4th of July, it all begins, things get wild, right? Things get wild. And we'll talk about that more tomorrow morning, trade room. So do not be surprised if we see a real sharp move down, right? Maybe it's an Epstein headline. Maybe it's a J. Powell headline. He said Epstein on this thing tonight? I'm covering all the bases here tonight. I'm kidding with you. The bottom line though is, don't be surprised with that bigger breakout pullback. And again, that could be the bear trap down here, right? That could be the V bottom down here. The entry tactics don't change. All we do is we just keep on looking for new ways to apply this, right? What we know is when I see a really sharp pullback like that, it oftentimes does just boing and run right back up again. And I want to get the entry below prior swings off that channel. Or in the event that we do pop up and make another run going lower, right? Again, retest trade, same thing over and over again. Bears once, bears twice, rinse and repeat, and add to that winner as it rotates back higher. All right, guys, that's the game plan for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow morning, place the bees in our trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time, guys. The easiest way to start making money in these markets is come out and learn and trade along with us every morning at the opening bell. Once again, I'm going to put all the important links you need to get started in the description of this video. Start first on that free video course. You're going to love all those trade examples. Then come join me in the trade room and we'll do it together. In the meantime, guys, be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.